Alrighty, buddy, welcome back to the Confession Post podcast, the show where we evaluate entries that have been written on confessionpost.com. People open up and confess highly personal details of their lives, and people comment on it there in the comment sections, but we're doing it here in a podcast. So I'm Morgan Rector.
And I'm Von Dark.
Okay, so how would you like to take it from the top, do the first
All
one?
right, I will. This one's called Superstitious. When people say the word God damn it out loud, I cringe and take it as a sign of bad luck that our relationship will end. Stepping away from them like a bolt of lightning is about to strike them out of a clear blue sky because they curse themselves and attract a lot of bad luck and negativity for taking God's name in vain. I also do not walk over metal grates or the metal doors you see on a NYC sidewalk either, lest you fall down the shaft and break a leg. LOL.
Well,
I was running through some of the confessions, and I have a feeling a lot of them come from New York.
maybe. Well, I mean, I don't. That's probably not the best city to live in if you're paranoid.
Oh fuck no! You
I,
got people like left, right, and center that'll mug you.
yeah, right. Have you been
Like
there?
they smell a tourist, they will fuck your day up.
Have you been there?
No, I mean it's definitely it's on my list of things to check out because I mean they have an incredible drag scene there and um they also have a lot of really beautiful Art Deco buildings
Yeah.
and that's what I really want to check out. And also I think I don't know if it still exists, but I think Georgia O'Keeffe had painted something in one of those buildings somewhere. Like it was like a mural or something like that. Um, I could be like wrong on the details, but I'm pretty sure she did something in New York. Um, but my main attraction is the Art Deco stuff, and in the drag scene too, because I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, and a lot of them come from New York.
Oh man.
So
Well, you know what? The drag queen who's going to appear in Papo this weekend, Rama. He I
they.
he's better. I think he's better than RuPaul. RuPaul's very good at applying the
Oh
makeup.
man,
But this
RuPaul's
guy,
classic.
but my friend, I'm telling you, like he's really creative about it. Like one time, he like made like a hat. It was like a tube of toothpaste with a cap, and like
Oh, that's
it's all.
awesome.
He's
When are
real.
we gonna like we're gonna have like can I be on that show? 'Cause I love my drag queens. Like and
Yeah,
they
it's
love
Saturday.
they
Saturday night.
actually
Yeah.
love me too. So
Saturday night. Yeah, that's what
this
we're
what
doing.
this Saturday?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel's a
We're
big
jumping
fan of.
right back in. I like
Yeah.
it.
I once saw some drag queens at a bar here, a place called Woody's, I think it was, and like they
Oh
were
yeah.
all it was boring. They're just they were in drag and lip syncing the songs, and I'm thinking, Vince,
Yeah.
kick your asses with his routines. He remember when it was a big deal because Britney Spears had a baby. That was a kind of headline news for a while.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he did a whole thing where he kind of dressed up like her, and he had like a prop baby, and he dropped it from between his legs.
Oh, nice. Oh my God. See,
It,
like the best part about those shows, like these people can be as lewd and crass as
yeah,
possible, and people eat it up. You
and he's
have to
funny.
be.
And he's funny. He's always been funny. We were friends in high school, though.
Oh, awesome.
Back then I didn't know he was planning on doing anything like that. But he was obsessed
Yeah.
with Madonna. He was in what I call the glass closet, where you know the person's gay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Anyone who loves Madonna, like
a guy.
profusely.
Yeah, and he was obsessed with her. Like I went with him the day when she put out that sex book. I went with him so
Oh,
he could get
yeah. There's
because
actually a special edition, I think, of that book somewhere.
yeah,
Um,
this was when it first came out. I think it had metal
yeah.
covers or something. It was
Yeah. There was one with a metal cover. I have a lot. Like I know actually Halifax is pretty renowned for the drag scene and we've actually
oh,
had quite a few of like RuPaul's people come through here.
really. Oh,
When I yeah, when I first got back here in 2017, on my birthday, I got to see one of my favorites. I they're all like kind of my favorite, but kimchi is like one of my like absolute favorites, and she came on my birthday. So I was like, that was
Oh,
one of the best birthday presents ever. I loved it. But we had Thorgy. We've had oh geez, we've had a lot of people. I can't name them all off because we've had so many people through here. But kimchi was definitely my favorite. I got a little bit of video of that, but yeah, and a little bit of tea. This is what I
yeah.
love about Halifax and knowing things, knowing a lot of people. Little Miss Kim Chi, when she started out on Drag Race, she was a virgin. And I have a feeling that like on the show that was rectified like real quick. Because
Yeah,
everybody like as soon as Kim Chi was like, I'm a virgin, every single one of them turned their head, right? They're like, what? And one of them was like, I was blatantly hitting on you at this show. Like you didn't even know. Like, and it was really adorable. But little Miss Kim Chi is definitely out of her shell now. She I'm not naming names, but she did get together with a few people out here. So
yeah. I'm
I was like,
attracted.
yes, you go, girl. Like
Yeah, I'm attracted to drag queens.
I
Yeah.
love drag queens. Like we had this place called Men's and Molly's out here, and like the last time I went out, it was actually for Jesse Stewart's. He had a show. He just passed away
Who is he?
last. Jesse Stewart. He did that cold beer
Oh,
song.
him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That in my
So
iPod too. Yeah.
that show, they were having a drag show at the same time. It was actually a really interesting dynamic. You have like all kinds of people that are into like Jesse Stewart's kind of folky music, and then there's a drag show happening in the other room. And yeah, like whenever I went out for a smoke, it was like I was talking to I don't know how many drag queens, but they're just like, "Oh, girl," like, and I love it. Like I eat it up. I'm like the biggest fruit fly ever.
Yeah, on the Trailer Park Boys network, SwearNet, there's a drag show on there. These drag
Oh,
queens
nice.
show, yeah.
That's good.
And I
Yeah.
think I think they're from Cape Breton actually. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The drag scene's pretty big here, but back to this cursing thing though. I
Yeah.
think it's kind
Uh,
of funny when people get like superstitious
well, I mean,
about saying "God damn."
well, yeah, that's a weird thing to be
Yeah,
about. Well, I mean, I
because
don't know. Yeah, you know what? But going through your whole life being worried about shit like that, that's just gonna
oh
drive you
man, you're not living your best life, that's for sure.
not at all.
No, you're
They
just
need
like
to.
you're waiting for something to come up and strike you from around the corner, and you're living your life in fear.
And also,
That's not fun.
and if you think you can live your life all the way through in New York City and not hear dirty words, you're in for a
I
big.
know, like they're like, hey, fuck you, buddy, like shit like that
I don't
all
know
the
if it's still.
time.
I don't know if it still goes on, but the comedian Bill Hicks was saying like in Central Park when he was living there in the 90s, there were these drug dealers like just out in the open, no discretion whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like, want to buy some coke? Huh? Want to buy some heroin? Like they're just
yeah,
really open about it. That might have
yeah,
changed because when Rudy Giuliani was mayor, he decided to like kind of Disneyfy the city and clean it up, and then that got to the point where if you had a loud conversation, you'd get a ticket for disturbing the peace. But yeah, I don't know.
wow, that's like,
A lot of people say they loved it when they loved New York more when it was sleazy, like in Taxi Driver. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's what it's kind of known for, is the
Yeah, yeah.
seediness, like I'm sure that whole place just smells like piss.
Oh yeah, that's what it said. And now it's
Like
also
Vancouver.
now it's also known for being a place where getting an apartment the size of
Oh
a
yeah,
fucking
a
Texaco,
closet,
yeah, Texaco washroom
like
apartment that'd be like
a
fifteen hundred
fucking
dollars. Yeah.
pull-out drawer costs you more than fucking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I saw this came across this thing. This girl who was living in New York. I think it was in Manhattan, which is the priciest part of the city.
Oh yeah,
Her
totally.
apart her apartment, the fucking bed is like 5 feet from the door. Like you walk in, there's the bed. Like that was her apartment. It was
Yeah.
barely an apartment.
Yeah,
But
and you get like a hot plate and like a fucking
yeah,
mini fridge. Like,
cockroaches up and down the cupboard.
oh yeah, apparently. Oh yes, that reminds me. There was this program that would like it talked about cities and like basically like what was built on a lot of garbage. Because I mean back in the day there was no real garbage disposal, right? And
Hmm.
New York is pretty much built on top of tons of garbage.
Built on the dump. Yeah.
Yeah, like what's that say about your city?
Well, it's interesting that New Jersey
Look at the
has like
people
most
that come out of there.
New Jersey has most of the dumps in the eastern seaboard, so maybe it used to be that New York was like that too, you know?
Yeah, like it was really interesting just to see like it's like look like this is how much fucking garbage is literally underneath the city. It's like
Oh
fuck.
no, and then there's the human garbage. Well, not all of them, but
Oh yeah, there's a lot of human garbage there
yeah.
too.
All right. Here's my first entry. Incest equals disgrace to humanity. Some of you,
Uh,
some of you people are gross for wanting to sleep with blood relatives or parents and their children. Go get therapy. You are
only
fucked up in
some though, only
yeah,
some, he says.
yeah. You were fucked up in the head. Go get therapy. You were fucked up in the head. There are 1,001 people in the sea. Don't disgrace and dishonor your family. It is wrong. Your soul will go to hell for it. Clearly, this person's life must have been affected by incest, or they wouldn't be so angry about it. Because
Yeah.
unless you're a sick puppy like me, and I go around thinking about incest, not like I want to do it, but I'm just because I'm fascinated by morbid shit. But
Yeah.
this person must have been a victim, you know. And
It's
I don't
like
know where.
sometimes that's where your thoughts go, and you can't
Yeah.
help it, We're all sick,
Well,
but
yeah, there's this website for people who've experienced what they call GSA or genetic sexual attraction. Who've
oh,
for instance, somebody who gave up a child for adoption and then they meet when the kid's in adulthood and there's like a sexual attraction. Um, and then so a lot of people have like they have a support group for that, but you can't not just anybody can join because I guess people have gone in there and judged them and insulted them. But I'm fascinated by those stories. I really enjoy reading them. But yeah, that website was started by a woman who like met her son when he was in his 20s after she gave him up for adoption as a baby, and she was attracted to him, wanted to have sex with him, and he didn't want to. So good choice.
you didn't. Yeah. Not to mention, it's like illegal, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Only in like I would say Canada and most of America, minus a couple states, I think.
Well, in New Jersey, I mentioned New Jersey before. That's
New
the one.
Jersey's not illegal.
You can marry your cousin in New Jersey. That's not
Oh.
legal. I don't think it's just. I don't think you can marry just any family member, but I guess you can bang and marry your cousin there. Yeah,
You can both bang and
yeah,
marry
yeah.
your cousin.
It's got to go hand in. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and Dr. Phil. There's clips of it on YouTube. There's a couple who were on there, and they were cousins. They fell in love, and they didn't feel ashamed of it. And everyone's saying, you know, your kids can end up inheriting really fucked up health conditions, and they're just like, you know,
Well,
they're saying not everybody inherits that and everything, but
it's
mm,
true to a
yeah,
degree, like both of them, right? Like I would
yeah,
say you're looking at like say brother and sister or like mother son, father daughter kind of stuff having the fucked up traits would be like closer to a higher percentage. But
yeah,
with
yeah,
cousins, it's like separated probably just enough where as long as everybody doesn't fuck each other.
yeah. Create a family reunion like a singles
This
function.
the family reunion would be quite small.
It's an orgy, yeah. Well, the most common is father-daughter incest. That
Yeah.
because some and I don't know if it's always sexual, but they say there is a phenomenon of fathers falling in love with their daughters. It's apparently it's not always romantic and sexual, but some fathers just they do tend to favor their daughters over their sons.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
often
Well,
happens.
I mean, there is something to that, like father-daughter, mother-son relationship,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like, and I guess sometimes it can go further.
Well, well, sometimes the mother and daughter are like competitive on some level, and
Oh
men
yeah.
and
Oh,
men don't
watch out,
always, yeah,
stepdad.
men, men, men don't always feel comfortable like opening up emotionally with other men, but with women, it's not so bad because women are more understanding, and your doesn't mind listening to your problems, whereas
Yeah.
you might worry your dad's going to think you're a wimp or whatever. So,
Yeah, I actually, it's funny that this comes up. I shared a video, like it was actually TikTok, um, earlier today, and it was like this, basically two people kind of reacting to one guy's like video, right? And like it's this guy and he's about to punch a mirror and it like comes up, he's like, only my sister can calm the storm or something like that, and it shows her like basically like grabbing his fist and like hugging him, and she's sitting on the sink. It's very like very fucking provocative. And then this guy
oh,
comes in and he's like, I don't want to be white anymore, I just want to rip my fucking skin off.
yeah,
And
wow.
I was like, oh my God. I felt that on a lot of occasions.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really want to be white anymore, please. Please and thanks.
Well,
I
I felt that way when I was like 14 years old and obsessed with hip hop and wanted to be a rapper. Yeah, there were some
yeah,
moments like that.
I'm going through that phase like right now. Actually, no, it's been all my life, but there was a time where I was like, I don't listen to rap music. I listen to metal. I'm better.
Well,
Like,
one moment where I felt that way is I was watching like a montage of clips on YouTube from Soul Train. At the end of the show,
oh, I love Soul Train.
these couples come dancing down
I
like,
love that.
and I'm watching it thinking, man, that this is one area where being white really sucks because these people can move, they
Yeah,
dance.
all you have to do though, like to like get into dancing and stuff. I found that this is like the best way is like raves.
Yeah, well, I
You
guess if
go
you're
to,
on
you
E,
eat a bunch of drugs, you go to a rave, all of a sudden by the end of that rave, you can actually dance.
yeah, well, the thing is, it's all about you have to let go, to abandon, and
Oh
stop
yeah.
worrying about what people think, and
And a lot of people find themselves exposed, when they do things like that. Like, I don't find that as bad as, sorry, performing or like public speaking. You know what I mean? Like getting up in front of a crowd and speaking, you're way more on the spot.
oh
At
yeah.
least like at least with dancing, there's like multiple other people out there dancing, and it's just like, okay, I'm not the focal point.
Well, the reason why white people are so uptight is because our families are uptight. Like there's just so much concern about doing the proper thing and protocols and put the goddamn knife here and the spoon here and
Yeah.
this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And don't forget to iron that shirt.
yeah,
It's
you
like fucking
humiliated me. You grabbed the wrong spoon. So I mean, how can you
yeah,
dance
this
after
this
all
is
that?
the salad. Like this is the
Yeah.
dessert spoon, not or spoon. This is the dessert fork, not the fucking salad fork like I asked. You
Oh
know?
yeah. It's like they say when you meet the queen, like there's just like dozens of
Oh
these goddamn
yeah.
protocols. You can't
So
walk
many
in
things.
front of her. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't turn your back to her.
Yeah.
And she's the one of the whitest people in the world. So,
The whitest of white.
oh yeah, those people are white to the
The
fucking core.
uppitiest white person ever.
Oh yeah. All right, what's your next story?
Okay, so this one's called Probably a Fool. In the past 2 months, I've been actively pursuing my ex girlfriend who happens to live 2,000 miles away. Everything has been seemingly all right, especially because I've been pretty lax, but in the last few days, I'm out of my head. There isn't any guarantee that things will lead to us getting back together, since she's expressed being afraid to only have eyes for me because she could be missing out on someone else who is better for her. I cheated in the past and have apologized endlessly, but maybe all the positive efforts won't be enough. I'm probably a fool.
Well, you know what? One thing, I'll confess to one thing. There have been an occasion or two when like a relationship was turning to shit, and I kind of realized this is about to peter off. And I'd ask myself, am I hanging on just because I don't want anyone else to have her? Because that's not a good reason to hang on, you know? Like, I don't know if you can relate to that, but it's just like to picture someone else dating them and they're getting all the fringe benefits, you know what I'm saying? Like that,
Yeah.
that's so uncomfortable to think about. It's like you don't want to let go, but on the other hand, if it's a bad relationship, that doesn't do you any good either. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really kind of have to like go through it sort of with a fine tooth comb and weigh your pros and cons, really. And I mean, the way that he phrased it, she said that she's afraid that she'll miss out. That right there is a huge sign that she's not
yeah,
ready to fucking settle down.
she wants to have her cake and eat it too. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, fuck it. Like, I get that. I mean, look at the time that we're living in. Like, everybody's like probably under the impression that our days are kind of numbered right now. So, like,
not
to
me.
kind of I mean, I'm not quite there. Like, honestly, I would prefer to have, say, a partner in crime. Like, I want for my partner, like, I would want everything for the best. And like, if they're like too much for me in one area, having an open relationship isn't a bad idea because then you can outsource a little bit.
Yeah,
But but I mean, uh, monogamy seems to be asking a lot of people, like a lot from people. I think a lot of people are kind of a little bit scared of that, like fear. They have that fear of missing out. And, monogamy means a lot of commitment. And I've been noticing more and more that um, people have been kind of going into more open and poly kind of scenarios, or just remaining single, and just like laying it out and saying, look, I don't want to settle down just right yet. And that's basically like, I would say that's a form of saying like, look, I'm like trying things on until something fits, like
but well, you know, I mean, it's better than the situation 100 years ago. Like I'm doing this episode of my main podcast, Human Monsters, and it's about a woman who, you know, got married in like the 20s, and sometimes back then a person got married and found out like 2 months into it that their spouse is a fucking nightmare and the marriage
yeah,
is gonna be shitty, and they're like, oh my god, like I could live out the rest of my life with this asshole for like 60 to 80 years and I can't get
yeah,
out of it because back then divorce was kind of taboo. But at
yeah.
least today you can test the waters, you can, and if the person turns out to be a douche, you can just
Yeah,
break
back then
ties.
they didn't really have a choice, like especially women. We couldn't really just go date
Oh
people
no, that was
because we
considered
were looked at being like we
a
were a
floozy.
whore.
You'd be a
Yeah,
floozy, as they called it. I love that word.
yeah, floozy. Yeah, no, it was shitty. Like, as much as I liked a lot of parts of back then, like for me to live back then, I would have been fucking so shunned.
Well,
Shunned a million times.
you might have been a flapper. The flappers were like
Oh, fuck yeah.
they were having sex and drinking and partying and shit. Maybe you would have
Yeah.
been one of them, you
Oh, totally. I would have fucking done that for sure. They had cool outfits and great
Yeah, they
makeup,
did.
and they
Well,
fucking had the finger waves down fucking pat. Like,
yeah, I was thinking that could make like an interesting TV show or movie or something. Flappers about
mm.
young, because they were pretty much doing what a lot of young women are doing today.
None of them bitches are alive though now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're Betty
We got no
White's
one
age.
to ask about that.
They were that craze occurred when Betty White was born in the 20s.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, right?
yeah, they're long gone now. So yeah, it'd be a
Yeah,
period piece for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
well, there are a lot of young women today who actually like they agree with you in theory. Like they're like, well, yeah, I'll try hookups. I'll do like booty calls or non-monogamy, but a lot of them are finding after a while that they don't like it so much that they
Yeah.
they want the emotional connection, the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, it's kind of funny. Like, I've, you can get the emotional connection sometimes that you crave, but I think you definitely kind of nail it down more when you're in a relationship,
Yeah,
because then it's like it's actually kind of set in stone that you guys have a sort of responsibility to each other in a way, right?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've like there's one person that I've been seeing now for like, geez, I think it's been like first time I saw them maybe like 2 years ago.
Two
And
years.
I mean, yeah, like, and I mean, we're just like, we're really good friends. And I mean, it hasn't been until this last year that things have been like a little bit different, you know? And I've noticed that, like, I mean, as you get older, you can establish these relationships where, like you're just, it's sort of like a friends with benefits thing, but you still get like the emotional connection too that you want. But it's just not a everlasting thing. It's sort of like just when you guys are hanging out, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's it's one of those things. It's sort of like things are kind of changing, and a lot of the older ideals are kind of like they're starting to change too, you know? Like I don't know, like over the years I've met I don't know if it's just because of like circumstance because I'm sort of one of those people, but I've met like so many more people as I get older that are just like way more open than
Hmm. Well, yeah.
what I would feel is like the sort of stale monogamous relationship.
Well, there are a lot of people. Well, it's kind of like the midlife crisis. A lot of people feel like they didn't, like they regret not having done more as young people. Like there were a lot of risks they didn't take, and a
Yep.
lot of adventures that they turned away from because they felt like I don't know, too risky, too dangerous, or whatever. And then in their middle age, suddenly they're keen to try new shit. So that's and a lot of
Yeah.
people do that with sex. So
Oh, totally. It's like the number one thing. Like
yeah,
food too. It's like, well,
yeah.
I used to like hate Brussels sprouts, but now I love them, like
Well, a guy I used to be friends with, like he's been interested in BDSM for a long time, and he went to an event that community they call it a munch. It's like you get together for lunch or something, and I guess you meet people, and I guess they make plans to engage in that sort of thing.
right.
And he said they were all like it wasn't attracted to anyone there because they were all like very much older than him, middle
Yeah.
aged, older, and so yeah, that's
Yeah, it's harder to find the right community, especially when you get a certain age too, because it's like, I'm fast approaching 40 and I don't look it. So
no,
like, so I mean, that's like it can be sort of an issue, like I guess like um especially for somebody who say is looking for someone young and they discover that I am not.
yeah,
you know? But I mean, I've personally like I found more luck in larger cities. And it also depends on what you go to. Usually the like those brunch things are older people because that's what they
yeah,
do.
probably, yeah.
You know, you want to go to say like a dungeon night
Yeah,
at
they'll
a
be the
bar.
younger ones. Yeah,
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 totally. Because like a lot of the younger ones, like they still like going out. Some people are just like about the show, and a lot of the younger people are kind of like that. And like the older people, they'll do like older people things, like have a brunch. you
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess they want to be safe about it,
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, like usually in that, like it has its pros and cons, right? Because it is a brunch, and because it's like say probably. Kind of early, like I would assume earlier in the day. You're gonna get the older crowd
Yeah,
because
that's for sure.
they're like that's their lifestyle. But you go to a dungeon thing, you're gonna get a different crowd
Oh
because
yeah,
like some of these older folk might go out because they're still kind of like young at heart and shit like that. But for the most part, it's just figuring out where your niche is. And yeah, I noticed like a lot of these community things, like they have these like brunches and stuff, and they're good so that you can actually hear people talk. you
yeah,
know, because when you're in a bar setting, it's like you can't, or a dungeon setting. Sometimes it's just strictly a dungeon. There's no drink. Um, you don't really. It's sort of like a crash meeting. At a lunch, you can kind of actually like get to know the real like sort of person, you
yeah.
know,
But I guess
because
that's not what they're all looking for.
it's a more casual setting, I would say, um, than doing the dungeon thing. But your buddy would probably do better if he if he went to a sort of a dungeon. He'd
Well,
find
he's a dom, and that's not the norm in that world. Most of them are subs, so that he has that advantage.
yeah, totally. I mean, like there's always a sub looking for somebody.
Yeah, so yep, he had a lot of interactions with subs, that's for sure. All right,
Yeah.
so my second confession here is titled "Let Me Suffer." I'm a female. It all started when I was in my 30s. I just love being stepped on my belly with full weight, punching my belly hard, and standing with full weight on my belly too. I can say 100% I can handle all that. While all this is going on, I have my hands tied behind my back as tight as possible so I can't move them. Also, I have my face slapped and spit at in my face too, and rubbing all in. The other thing, I have someone sitting on my belly with their full weight so I can't move my belly at all, and they have someone else sitting on their lap, and so on. They will stay like that for a while, still having my hands really tied behind my back. That's my kind of torture, is let me really suffer. I'm not allowed to say a word to anyone. If I make any kind of noise, they will make me suffer even more by doing it all again. This is all without sex.
Wow.
Uh, I don't think that's as uncommon as maybe.
No, I mean, guys like there's a bunch of guys out there that like having their balls fucking stepped on.
Yeah, Sasha Grey would demand to be punched in the stomach while she was doing it. So
Really?
yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Sasha
she was a
Grey is
trooper.
she's definitely like she's up there. Wasn't she? I think she was on Californication, that
I
show.
think so. She's
Yeah.
done a little bit of
Or
mainstream.
no, wait, maybe it was that one Entourage. I get them confused sometimes and I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe. I think Ron Jeremy was on that, so I don't see why she wouldn't have been on.
Yeah.
She's like a DJ now or something. I don't.
Yeah, she's wicked though. Like she's beautiful.
Oh yeah, and she didn't come from a bad childhood. She wasn't molested. Her family knows about the whole thing, and
No, she's just a freak, that's all.
yeah, yeah. You know,
There ain't no harm in that.
she's aggressive. You know, she has the mascara running down and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I've heard a lot of my guy friends talk about her. I've
Yeah,
watched like maybe a couple of things with her in it and I'm like, "Oh."
yeah,
Wait,
she
I
was
think she
kind of.
was in. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, she was like the queen of porn, like Rather Janet Jameson.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and Jesse James or
yeah,
Jesse Jane. I think Jesse Jane.
yeah. There's always somebody. I don't know who would be the queen now. Maybe the internet's kind of leveled the playing field.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a while when they were doing the awards for
The
um
APN.
yeah, those awards. They had like an internet favorite award or something like that.
And
So,
they have like best gangbang and all that
oh
kind of.
yeah, I know. I was like, man, these are great categories.
What do you think what do you think happens to these women who have done like the world record gangbangs where it's like 200 guys or
Oh,
whatever?
they like retire, man. There's nothing
Jesus.
else you can do. Like you've already fucking topped yourself.
Are you going to be like wearing a goddamn catheter the rest of your life? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, there's one that I have. It's this chick. They're doing an interview with her in the beginning, and like basically the interview is like just her basically saying like I've okayed all of this, like,
Yeah.
and then the film continues, and she gets totally like railed, like by lots of dudes, and I'm just like It's a great one. I can't remember fucking what it was called. I have to look at that. It's on my hard drive.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, she was quite the trooper. And I was set in like a nursing thing, like sort of in like an asylum. So they like hosed her down and like fucked with her there, and then they had her all strapped down, and basically she was just like kind of used. It was it was very hot.
She probably made a lot of money. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays women really come out on top with these sort of things, but there was
oh,
a time where um people weren't really getting paid what they deserved.
well, and it still sucks for men. Men get paid shit to do that stuff, and it's yeah, they're
Yeah,
very
because
few
it's
men.
actually a woman's world in that
Oh
sense.
yeah. Oh, I think the only guys who make money in the porn world are the guys who like produce
Well,
movies.
there's Edward, whatever. He did the Pirates, like the Pirates 1 and 2.
Pirates, yeah.
Yeah. Part of the first one was filmed on a ship here in Nova Scotia, right?
Really? Was Peter North in it?
No,
Oh,
but that's our like Spryfield claim to fame. He's from Spryfield, I heard.
yeah, he's from Halifax. Yeah, that's wild.
Spryfield is honestly like it is one of the ghettos out here. Spryfield, Dartmouth, Lower Sackville, Fairview, like all of these places, it's like
The
you have
Uniacs.
questionable fucking people coming from there. They've
The
been in a fight or two.
What about the Uniac? I was watching it like a true
Mount
crime.
Uniac. Mount Uniac is oh, is that the you're talking about the guy that shot up everybody, right?
No, it was I think it was talking about like biker gangs and like I think
Oh, okay.
you know, there was some they just mentioned the Uniac in Halifax and how there's a lot of
Oh
crime.
wait, there's Uniac Square,
Yeah, is that
which
like is that a
is
big drug place maybe or is it
it's called they call it the Square actually, but its
okay.
proper name is Uniac Square. I used to live across the street from there, and I lived like a couple blocks away. And if they don't know who you are, you can't just walk through there. You
Really?
can't.
Is that
Yeah. Um, I've oh yeah, and yeah, because it's mainly like a pretty tight community, and it is like fairly ghetto. It was back when I lived around that area. Like, one of my friends and I, we were going down to another friend's house, and this was like basically like a straight shot between where I lived and where my friend lived. We could essentially walk right through there, but we don't. And like some guy had come up and was asking us the time, and my friend, which I could have slapped like several times, was really rude to him. And he basically like made it look like he was reaching for like possibly a gun, and I was like, we're getting the fuck out of here. Like, you're an idiot. It's
oh man.
like you do not sass anyone from around here, you fucking idiot. Like,
Hmm.
you go, look, I'm sorry I don't have a watch. Sorry, I gotta go. Bye. Get the fuck. Like, don't stick around. Don't fucking start shit.
No, of
Like,
course
oh
not.
my God, I mean, like, there's been times. Oh, and it was actually like back when I was living downtown, there was areas that you shouldn't go through, right? And I went through a few of them a lot, even like after the bar and stuff. Like rightfully, I could have been jumped at any time, but I've had a lot of luck in that area. Back then, like there was an old man that like these kids like fucking beat him up for a laptop, for fuck's sakes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like, and there's crime that happens out here, but it's like, you don't hear about it. It's not as bad as the States, It's
Oh,
not.
of course
But
not.
people
No.
still get shot and stabbed and things.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean that. Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of drugs because it's a port city, so that's probably just
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. There's a fair amount of drugs. Fair amount.
All right, so let's move on to your next confession now.
All right. So I think this is another New York one. Well, actually, I know it is because they say it. Wrong person. It wasn't Megan Good. I think it is funny due to a picture I posted to your Instagram. You invited Megan Good to your dinner party because you thought we made out. Well, she is innocent. And it was not her I made out with, honey. It was sexy Michael Ealy, the other person in the photograph. He was my neighbor in New York City, and I was in the middle of moving after breaking off an engagement. We would see each other in passing, say hello, flirt from time to time. He is a beautiful man, has gorgeous eyes, nice lips, and package, but got a bit impatient simply because he needed to get home before his girlfriend returned. Eeks. I never even knew she, now his wife, existed at the time, but we favor each other. He has good taste in women. I don't feel guilty about it though. It was great and sweet and a sweet memory, and I would do it all over again to taste the candy man. I normally prefer women. Men are a rare delicacy. His lips were dessert. How is the arm, Michael? XO, sexy man. Hope the dinner party with sweet Miss Good was fun without me. Mariposa.
What's the
So
gender of the author?
that I don't know. I'm almost thinking this person might be a drag queen
Hmm.
because it sounds like they like I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah.
Um,
Is Megan Good a famous person?
I am glad you asked.
Hmm.
Okay, so the reason why I chose this is because there's actually a song with Mac Miller and a bunch of people. I'm gonna pull that up real quick, and it is called Megan Good. And that's why I picked this because I was like, who is this Megan Good person?
Hmm.
Megan Good. Yeah. Okay. It's by Pete Rock, Camplo, and Mac Miller. And they talk about this Megan Good person. So I'm going to actually look up Megan. Megan Good.
Well, there
She's
is.
an actress.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, the thing is,
actress
too,
and model.
if you have the money, like you can pay celebrities to attend events, like they do that with clubs. Like if you're an event promoter, maybe you could pay like fucking, I don't know, Jessica Alba to come like just stand there for an hour. She lets you take pictures of her, and then she leaves. You pay like some enormous sum of money, and then afterwards, maybe on the website, you say, look, Jessica Alba comes to my events, stuff like that. So it could be something like that.
Yeah. Well, she's in a TV show, Deception.
Hmm.
That's all I really know about her, but she's really quite cute. Like, and I have a feeling she's probably like a bit of a scenester. Well, not scenester, but like socialite in New York, I would assume, because the way that this person was talking about it. Because they're like, they're in the picture, blah blah blah, you know, things like that. Or it could be just a nickname for this person that looks like Megan Good, but I'm kind of hoping it's the real Megan Good because that would make things spicy.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like it sounds like this person just had to sip some tea over it. Um and bring up that, and they even said, "Oh, honey." So like, I'm not sure who this person is. Like, they could just be, you know, the same ethnicity as Megan Good and have just like that black flavor going on.
Maybe, yeah.
Um, but like, when I hear honey, I think drag queen.
Yeah, I mean, give it up, honey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's a
I
funny thing
mean,
about that website. That website, it censors swear words, but not people's names. Like it shouldn't be the other way around.
yeah, yeah, and it's supposed to be, it's like anonymous, and like
Yeah.
this person signed off as Mariposa.
Yeah, right.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, and like also like back on the New York tip, I wonder if this is like, I mean, obviously this confessions post is like, it's on the interwebs, so anybody can comment,
Yeah.
but maybe there's like a ad page or something for it, and one of the papers and people from New York are just like fucking all over it.
Yeah, that kind of shit is pretty regular in New York City. I mean, it's full of celebrities and
Oh
uh,
yeah, for
a lot of
sure.
society people, and so
Well,
yeah,
people live out, like a lot of these stars or whatever have like a crib out there. You know what I
oh
mean? Like they
yeah,
have a little studio, or they do business in New York a lot, so they may as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My next one is entitled "Girls' School." Sounds like the title of like an '80s TNA comic.
Yeah.
So I was 17 when one of the girls in school sexually groped me in the shower. I was so embarrassed about other girls seeing her touching me, I didn't want to attract attention. I just stood against the wall while she performed oral sex on me, telling me if I liked it. I remember we were in there for less than 5 minutes and so ashamed about getting sexually aroused. I knew she took my not saying anything as proof of enjoying it. She now sends me notes telling to wait for everyone else to finish bathing. I feel guilty because it is much better than masturbating. Well, see, there are women who kind of feel like it's okay to touch someone without consent if because they're women, right? Because they're not guys.
Yeah, Katy Perry went through that.
Yeah, that doesn't make it right just because you're a woman.
No, cause like Katy Perry, like that one time she like kissed like she was like, "Come here," and she like manhandled him basically, and the guy was like, "I didn't consent." Like,
Was he
I'm
gay?
like,
Hmm.
I think so, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, my drag
But I
queen.
mean, like honestly, like if it were me and a celebrity was like all googly and touching me, I would be like touching them back.
Yeah.
Be like, well, I'm gonna touch your boob.
Well, my friend's drag act, it involves like a little bit of touch sometimes, but he said like sometimes these drunk straight women have gotten a little carried away and like touched him in his crotch or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Took it
we're
too far,
terrible,
and
some
he
of
hates
us.
it. He hates it. It doesn't make it okay
Yeah.
that they're women.
No, no. I mean, I'll use this as an example, but like I knew a lot of male strippers,
Yeah.
and they would say like, they would get fucking mauled to death
Yeah,
by like middle-aged women,
yeah,
like
female stripper fans are more aggressive than the men who see the women apparently.
exactly, exactly. It's so
Yeah.
fucked up to me. It is. I'm like, seriously, ladies, you act like you fucking never had anything in your goddamn life. Like,
Yeah.
get it together.
I once saw footage of this one male stripper act where like the guy's dick is out and the women are taking turns sucking it. So
Oh,
sometimes it goes
damn.
that far. Yeah,
Damn.
because he was
Ew.
hung. He
I
was
would
really
not want
hung.
to fucking like suck that after, say, like five people did.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I'm
Yeah,
like, wait a second.
you
Like,
never know who might have herpes or something.
oh God. Yeah, that's a dangerous fucking game to play, man. Wow. Like for
Yeah,
everyone. Everyone after the person with herpes and the guy with the
yeah.
dick.
And I don't think he was wearing a condom either. I think they were going raw.
Oh,
So
Jesus fuck. That's terrible.
yeah,
That's terrible. I mean, uh, hopefully he came out okay.
Oh yeah, he was okay.
I
Yeah,
will
he
pray
was.
for him in my own way.
Oh, I don't know if
But
they. I don't know if maybe it was like a bachelorette party or something like that. But yeah.
yeah.
Well, anyway, what's your next one?
Oh, okay. So, why do I find all things obesity sexy? I am I'm a extremely this guy is not good at grammar. I'm an extremely slim and very healthy woman, but I'm attracted to obese individuals of both sexes. I I would, oh my God, I would even go as far as to say that I love feederism. I even define myself as a FFA and FF, female fat admirer and a female feeder. I find it such a turn on to see, watch, even encourage obese people to become even fatter. All I ever think about is an obese person being fed and fattened up and more and more till they struggle to do things by themselves. I love obesity and obese people. The bigger, the better. I am fully aware that this is not healthy. It not even right to what? It's not even right to want to fatten your other half, but obese men and women are so sexy. So,
I was actually waiting on that one because I saw that and I was disappointed when I went to check it. The confessions you chose.
I know, right?
So we were on the
We can
same
both
page.
weigh in on this,
Yeah,
though.
we were on the same page with that one. But I'd like to
Yeah.
hear. But I'd like to hear what you say first.
Okay, so I mean, I think I get what the psychological dynamic is, when it comes to this sort of thing, people really like to have a codependent. And it's almost like the bigger they get, the more that person's going to rely on you.
Oh, for sure.
And and it's sort of like that's what I feel like is part of the psychological end of it. Um, they basically have like it's almost like having a child because
Oh
a
yeah.
child that's never going to grow up because they like can't do anything for themselves. But they're a grown human being, so you can have conversations with them. And I don't know, like it's always been kind of intriguing to me, the whole theater dynamic, because I mean, while I find all people are beautiful in their own way, and I'm attracted to larger men, not necessarily obese, but I have no issues with like a little junk in the trunk, Like I have no issues with that whatsoever. I'm kind of more about like the person rather than, the body that they're in, but I do have to have some sort of physical attraction.
Hmm.
And someone who I'm not really turned on at all by anybody who relies on me. So like this
Yeah.
sort of dynamic does not work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, I could sort of see it working in a caregiver sense, just not a sexual sense,
Yeah. I
you
know what you.
know? And what are your thoughts?
Well, I like women of all shapes and sizes, but I wouldn't want to wait to have to like take care of one, like to be a caregiver, because I'm
Right.
already going through that with my mother, and I wouldn't want to repeat that because it
Yeah,
steals your
once you
life.
get out of that, once you get
Oh,
out of that, you need to experience freedom, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm basically I'll tell them, you know what, if that happens to you, your family can take care of you. I'm
Yeah,
not going to watch more years of my life go down the tubes. Uh,
exactly. You
but
have a
yeah, I
life
saw.
to live and
Oh yeah, I saw a documentary once. This guy, so his wife, I think she like set a record, like 1,000 pounds, but then she decided she wanted to lose the weight because they had adopted a daughter and she wanted to, to be there for the
yeah,
girl and she didn't want to miss out on seeing the little girl grow up and, become a woman.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the husband was really unhappy about that. He wanted her to be huge. He enjoyed taking care of her, like washing under her folds and all this kind of
Oh,
stuff.
gross.
And he was disappointed that she was losing weight, and it's a really, he definitely put her in an awkward position there because she's gonna, I mean, because yeah, she was probably heading toward a heart attack or something.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
1,000 pounds is not, it's not a joke. I
Not
was,
recommended, no.
yeah, I was watching, I, every now and then, whenever I had like the luxury of cable TV, I would catch my 500 pound, my 600 pound life or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would make a point as like to watch it because like I want to know what these people go through. And I mean, there's a certain like amount of sympathy that I have because like it's a cycle. It's a really shitty
Yeah.
cycle. And like
Well,
the last one that I watched, Buddy was like he was homeless. He was living in his van.
oh, really?
And yeah, like and that was like it was kind of heartbreaking, like cuz I mean, first of all, to be that size and have to like be confined to your van, like I mean, at least you have a place you can get around, but you don't really have the luxury of walking, like or working off any of those pounds.
Well, the way I see it, the anorexic and the 700-pound person are
Yeah,
they're opposite sides of the same coin. They have eating
exactly.
disorders. The eating disorders, it's one person won't eat, the other person can't stop. It's one's addiction, one is asceticism, and they're hard to treat because it's compulsive behavior. Like
Yeah.
most hospitals, they won't treat anorexics. They won't admit them because they'll tear the fucking IVs out of their arms. And with this, a lot of people, it's hard for them. Well, it's hard to exercise when you're 700 pounds, so that's one thing. But also, uh, in most cases, they end up having to get like bariatric surgery because it's just hard for them to give up their eating habits and to cut down on portions and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they get the like rubber band or whatever
The
in
gastric,
their yeah.
yeah, basically you can eat like the equivalent of a Timbit, what we call, well, in the States they call them donut holes, but
Donut holes, yeah.
yeah, you can basically you eat next to nothing, and
Yeah, and it just
but
falls off you. Like, but then
oh
there's all that extra skin they got to go in for
yeah,
surgery and get that taken care of. It's like it's a long process.
oh yeah, donate the skin to burn victims.
That's if it's compatible, but yeah, like, that's actually not a bad idea. Shit. Man, we need to come up with some fucking side hustles here.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is what you do. This is how you resource your shit.
well, you could. Well, I mean, aside from the T-shirt idea we discussed,
Oh
sell
yeah.
you could sell like underwear with discharge on it.
Yo, okay, so this is awesome that you just fucking brought this up. There's a person out here doing that. They're selling gently gently used underwear. And I'm like, what the fuck does gently used mean?
Was that like
And
one day or
I
something?
want I want the aggressively used pair.
You should probably wear it for like a week or something.
Oh God. That's the aggressively used
That's
pair.
aggressively used. Because these guys want to smell real
Yeah, and then there
female,
was like there was this dude that came up with this like sort of magic paste that he like it supposedly like kind of replicated the smell
Oh yeah.
and right, and he was selling a bunch of fucking junk panties. He got caught for it later, but like that wasn't here. It was I think just somewhere. Anyway, he
Um,
made up a concoction that was supposed to be like fucking, you know, discharge. Oh, I fucking
well,
hate that word, man.
I guess if you mix like cottage cheese with like some kind of other
Like
kind of cheese,
tuna.
yeah, melt like cheddar, melt
God,
cheddar
do
and
tuna melt in somebody's
yeah,
panties. Just do that.
melt cheddar, melt Velveeta, and then put like cottage cheese and stir it around. Maybe that you could pass that off.
There's a fucking ad going around on Facebook, and it's like this. It's basically it's a period tracker for women, And one of the ads that they have running is literally, it is pictures of discharge in a woman's panties. And to me, it is the most disgusting ad I've seen in a long fucking time. It's like some things like, yeah, okay, there's no problem in discussing this, but you don't need to fucking show it. Like maybe I'm like old school, but like when I see this ad pop up, I'm like, ugh, like please God, like do not remind me of the things that happen with my body that I wish didn't happen. Like and like the colors that they show, oh my God. You're like, Jesus fuck, like I don't understand. Like this is TMI. It's like it is TMI. Like, no one needs to see this while they're scrolling through their friend's fucking Facebook or just scrolling Facebook in general. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of panties with different colored discharges all over them, and you're
Wow.
just like, gross. Like,
So,
I posted it up in one of my groups. It's like it's one of my friends' groups. It's supposed to be for cringeworthy stuff, and I was like, this
yeah.
is cringeworthy. It is so cringeworthy. And the last time I saw it was yesterday. They still have this fucking ad running, and I'm like, look, I'm all for the discussion of women's health. Like you can discuss discharge, but there's no need to show it. You don't need to do that. Like, it's like, talk about it, but don't just fucking
You
be
know,
like, this is what it looks like. Oh,
well,
like,
tell me what you think about this. One of my ex-girlfriends, like I noticed this thing we'd be like doing cam on our phones, and she kept going to the bathroom now and then, but she wasn't urinating. It turned out she doesn't wear underwear. She just goes to the toilet to wipe the discharge now and then. Is that kind of odd? Is
what?
that kind of weird?
She
Yeah.
doesn't, okay, wait.
We never discussed it, so I don't know why she does that. I don't know if it's to cut down on laundry or what, but
Oh, why she doesn't wear underwear?
she didn't wear underwear. She just chose instead to just wipe the discharge from time to time throughout the day.
Well, I mean, some women get more than others. I mean, I've like the times where I've not worn underwear are usually just times where I've just not had the choice or stayed in town or something like that, and like can't put a pair of dirty underwear back on. So I mean, there's I mean, where we're all different, some women would probably have more discharge than others, I would assume. Now, I personally, I don't think I would have that problem. I've not really noticed. It's only when the lady time starts happening, like there's certain things that your body does, right? And I
Yeah,
mean, discharge is actually sort of like a cleanser in a way. It's like,
yeah.
it just cleanses your shit out all the time. But like, um,
Wonder if there are women who have like a problem, like abnormal amount of discharge. Like,
well, what I read, because there was so many comments on that ad with the discharge, so many comments. I was like, I have to read some of these. One of the women on there said that, when you get pregnant, there's like lots. It happens, like apparently like it's a thing when you get pregnant. So,
yeah, that
I
makes
mean, I chalk it up to body changes, hormones, that sort of thing. Because, like, when you go on your period, sometimes you have like a day or two beforehand where you can tell that things are changing, right? And then there's when you get pregnant, your hormones are all fucking out of whack. So, of course,
yeah, yeah.
that makes sense, right? So, I mean, just women weighing in on women's health and all, it's like, you know, um, where we're all different and going through different parts of our lives where our hormones may be changing, they might not, this and that, whatever. Like some women probably would have more discharge than others, and some of them, say if you get like a fucking yeast infection, things definitely change.
Well, one thing
Uh,
one thing that was weird. One time I was going to college, and we were at the point where we were going to start doing like co-op placements, and so the teacher's giving us this advice on how to conduct yourself professionally around the office. And at one point she says, change your underwear every day. And as a guy, and I'm thinking,
Like,
well,
who
yeah, you would
doesn't do
wear clean clothes. Yeah, and I'm
that?
thinking you wear clean clothes, but I didn't know about discharge, and it was well, okay, so this is a weird time in my life. So the
College
course,
usually is.
well, that's part of it, but the course was called office administration, and
Oh shit.
I thought administration meant like you could be like an office manager. I didn't know it's like secretarial shit. But I mean, it
Mm.
worked out in a good way because I learned I became a better writer and I learned key
Yeah.
skills, so that was good. But yeah,
Yeah, that and like say
yeah,
journalism would be like your two top.
yeah. It was good for me as a writer, and but anyway, at one point, I'm the one guy in a class full of nothing but females and the teachers included, and so there she is.
You're like the only dude.
Yeah, and I had no idea about discharge, and so yeah, yeah,
Oh God. No, that would have been mint.
that was
I
interesting. Yeah.
it's just like, what the fuck did I sign up for?
It,
What
it
is
was
this
odd. Yeah,
talk we're having?
it was strange. I mean, she didn't get into, and the weird thing about it actually,
No, it has a
she's
smell, that's why.
yeah,
'Cause
she's not
like,
a, the teacher was not like a flaky, eccentric person either. So looking back, I'm surprised she would say that, but
yeah,
maybe
but I
somebody
mean,
didn't do it. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I would say that there's a lot of people that struggle with hygiene for whatever reason. You know, like there's some
Yeah,
people that are just depressed and they just don't give a fuck about their life, right? So,
yeah,
you
that's your
know,
impression. Yeah.
yeah, like depression is definitely a number one thing for hygiene. Like, I mean, I've gotten into depressive states where, I hadn't showered for about 2 or 3 days, and I usually make a point to have a shower every day because it's part of my routine. I didn't brush my hair, didn't brush my teeth, didn't do anything for myself, like it just fucking like, went to work if I was like working at the time, usually when I was in my depressive states, I would save that for the weekend.
Well, I mean, you
know?
seem to be pretty low. You could be low maintenance if you wanted to. Like I remember, because
Yeah, yeah.
remember we accidentally had like a video chat and you just gotten out of bed or something. Like, you didn't look too bad. You
Well,
weren't.
yeah, no, it was like, oh, this is it was the first Papo. I didn't realize it was a video chat,
Oh
and I
no, no,
didn't
it
have.
wasn't that. This was like closer to Christmas, I think. Like we just talked briefly, and
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
accident
yeah.
you accidentally pressed video and stuff, and you were
Oh
standing
yeah,
there.
I'm like, oh God, don't look at me.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't look bad for someone who just like rolled out of bed or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time when I like wash my face, I'll wash from under my eyes down, like where my face actually really breaks out.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes I have remnants of my eyebrows from the day before.
Oh, I see.
Remnants only, but like they're there. They're passable. They're more there than me without makeup. So, I mean, yeah, that's usually how I roll when it comes to washing my face, and it's more out of convenience because like sometimes if I have to get up really early, if I have some makeup on, then it's less that I have to do in the morning. And usually my eyes, like, you don't get pimples really around your eyes. And
Yeah,
I've never really gotten that so
hopefully
much.
not. Yeah.
So, I mean, knock on wood, because I don't want to have a big fat zit on my fucking eyelid or something sometime. That would be fucking gross.
No,
But
when you get older, they're mostly just on your ass. So
yeah, and like in weird ass places,
yeah,
like places that chafe.
yeah, yeah.
Or
Had,
places you shave and you get an ingrown hair and you're like, oh god damn it. Like, guess I'm not having sex for a week.
well, as long as you shave your pits, that's the main thing.
Oh yeah, no, I've noticed that when I don't shave my pits, that's when you can smell the BO.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah,
Oh,
because
like
it's
I swear to
trapped in.
God, it's like it lingers on your hair.
Yeah, it's bacteria trapped in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, I've had a couple clients where they didn't shave, and I was just like, ugh, like, and they like, you could see it coming out, like when they had their arm down, you could see it coming out, and I'm like, that's a lot of hair for a lady.
Oh yeah, and like, see, it makes me wonder. There must not have been a lot of oral sex 200 years ago because people didn't
Oh,
really pay,
gross.
people didn't bathe that much. They didn't shave anything.
No.
There was no
That,
shaving, no bathing. So
that reminds me of the Game of Thrones scene where Jon Snow and the Wildling gets together. You've watched Game of Thrones, right?
I never watched it. No.
Oh, I'm sorry to. Okay, slight spoiler, but it's not gonna ruin everything. But there's a part where Jon Snow goes down on this. She's a wildling, right? They call her a wildling, and uh, you don't. I forget the phrase. It's been so long. You don't know anything, Jon Snow, or something like that. Anyway, she's like, no one's ever done that before.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I'm
Oh
like,
my.
you guys are probably the most disgusting people ever. Like, I
Oh
have
yeah.
never seen any one of you take a bath. Like, you're like fucking in the middle of fucking, you're past the wall, and that's all fucking like Antarctica.
Oh yeah.
Like,
You know how disgusting they were back. That's why they invented perfume. It's because everyone fucking reeked. That's why they invent
yeah,
not to make you smell better, to make you smell acceptable. And
yeah, it's basically like patchouli for hippies because when
yeah,
you smell hippies, it's patchouli and BO.
and in castles they didn't have plumbing because it hadn't been invented yet. So they would set aside like a specific part of the house, like a stairwell, and everyone would do their business there. And so when you had to make sure not to avoid that place when you didn't have
Yeah,
that because it fucking
yeah.
reeked. Yeah.
They would toss their shit out the window,
Oh
literally.
yeah, yeah.
Toss their shit out the window. And like a lot of these, like when they had cobblestone like roads and stuff, you'd see like there's like a gutter that like, and this is like, you can see a lot of it still in Europe and a little bit in old Quebec, because old Quebec has like just one little area where it's like sort of like untouched and they still have some cobblestone there, but I think I
Like
haven't
old
been back there.
Montreal or
Yeah, yeah, like old Montreal, where Chateau Frontenac is
Quebec
located,
City. Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's basically, they were shit troughs. Like that's basically where your shit would go.
Yep.
Is just
On the
down those gutters. Like uh,
Mhm.
so gross. We were disgusting
Oh
until
yeah.
we like figured out soap and a toilet.
Nasty, I was gonna say nasty, uncircumcised guys, but you're kind
But
of
I mean, there was Jewish people back then, and that like, oh, Year One. You haven't watched that yet. You
I
need
never
to
watched
watch
that.
it. Yeah, and they talk about circumcision in that, and it's basically like it's making fun of like the beginning of time, right? It's Jack Black and Michael Cera, and they're going through like caveman times to like biblical times, which is wicked.
Oh wow.
Like, but there's a actually, hang on, I'm gonna find the cast because like I have to figure out who the hell is the guy that goes on about the circumcision, and I'll know as soon as I see his face.
I saw
Uh,
I saw Michael Cera in person once.
Hank Azaria. Hank Azaria. He is let's see, most famous for Apu.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that guy. Well, not
Yeah,
person, but yeah.
yeah. So he was the one that was basically, he was like, what's all the craze? They're cutting the tips off of our dicks and stuff like that. It was so good. So good. And then, like once you like start watching this movie, you're like, holy shit, there's an amazing cast in this fucking movie. It's fucking ridiculous because there's like Bill Hader, there's Jack Black, there's hang on. Shoot. Uh, Hang on, go back one. David Cross from Arrested Development, the Never Dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And fucking they're not showing him Ant-Man, the guy who's Ant-Man.
Never saw that.
Um,
There's an amazing amount of movies I haven't seen.
Oh man, and you seem like a movie guy. Um,
Yeah, it's a funny thing because like I spent 25 years of my life trying to become a director, and yet I'm really not a movie buff. I'm like so picky about the movies I see. So, but I know there's probably a ton of
Paul
movies.
Rudd. Paul Rudd. That's what I'm talking about. Paul Rudd. You know, like that story in the Bible where I think it's is it Abraham kills his brother?
I think he killed his son. He sacrificed his son.
Okay, yeah. So that part's in it, but then there's one where like God like tells us like basically it's stealing shit from the Bible, but God tells this guy to like kill his brother or something like that. Um and it's David Cross and Paul Rudd, and it's like that whole scene is fucking amazing. Definitely, like you will fucking laugh your ass off at it just because it's like it's making fun of so much in there, like so much, and like Jack Black and Michael Cera's, like holy god, they're so good together. Anyway.
Right.
That's all the things that you need to know about not foreskin. Was it circumcision and like well, not all the things you need to know, but like all the things that are fucking funny and hilarious. Like he pops up twice in the movie trying to tell them to cut off fucking their foreskin. Anyway,
The Bible fucking it just emphasizes it endlessly. It's like on and on.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
Okay, so whose confession was that next? Is it you? Or
Um,
did you do,
we
was
were
it you?
talking about the obesity thing, I
Oh, that
think,
was
and then
you.
we,
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
mine's next. Okay, so this one's entitled Backdoor Only for Me. I have a
Ooh.
sexual I have a sexual addiction that has prevented me from having a normal or long-term relationship. I cannot enjoy sex with a girl unless anal sex is involved. Traditional vaginal, and they cut it off there for some reason. They said if you have to yeah,
Mm.
membership. I don't know why they thought that I couldn't handle the rest of it, but
Yeah, no, I've noticed that like in past confessions it says like more in a bracket, but like you
yeah,
can't click on it. That's the
weird.
difference.
Well, maybe this guy should get together with like a trans woman, you know. I don't know how he feels
Yeah.
about dicks, but obviously they're used to taking in the ass, so they can be presented as a girl, and you know they like to get fucked. They don't want to get their dicks sucked. They don't want to fuck the guy. They want to be passive, be the female. So
Well, yeah, that's like the bottom versus top kind
yeah,
of
they
thing.
want. So yeah, get yourself a trans girl, I would say, and go to
I
town.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a high option. Like that's a top option for sure because you know that there's only like one hole that you can go into, right?
Yeah.
But there are women out there like that are into that. My I had a roommate. She was like she was like I love butt sex, da, 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 right? I'm like okay, It's like cool.
Well, she's
Um,
popular with men, yeah.
but it wasn't until recently that I myself have delved into that and have been quite pleasantly surprised. Um, it just depends on, if you're ready. Like sometimes people are open enough to like kind of go there and experiment. And once they've, crossed that bridge, it's like maybe that's the only thing that butters their biscuit. You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, there's one thing about female sexual privilege that doesn't exist for men. You can have sex uh, twice at the same two. You can have sex like two sexual encounters at once. You know, a threesome, right? One in the ass, one in the pussy, and then
Oh yeah, I
you
mean
get
it just
double
depends on the
fuck.
sexual fluidity of the man because
Yeah,
I know some men that are like willing to do like a male woman threesome, but I know some men that aren't,
yeah.
they're
There's
like no.
with men, yeah. But
Like that's a hard no.
yeah, like a a man can't have sex with more than one person at a time, but a woman can. So
Yeah, well, I mean, in a lot of circumstances, some men like kind of just don't like it's like some weird hidden guilt thing that can pop up or not pop up.
yeah,
Because I mean, sometimes like when you have two women there, you can get in your head so easily. Like you can be like, oh my God, this is too much. And I mean, like it can happen for a woman too, but a lot of the time we're a lot easier to just kind of let go. Let go and let things like happen. You know, some guys just get a little bit too much like in their head. And I mean, um, there's some guys that are blessed with being able to just like go, 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 while others need like some recoup time and things like that, right? Like, so, it just depends on the individual, really.
yeah.
That's what I think. Because I mean, it can be too much. I mean, really, like you got two people to pleasure, like holy fuck. But that's where you let like a lot of the time, like I've been a third in threesomes, and I like my job was to just sort of be like somewhat of a buffer. Like it depended on the couples that I was with. Like some couples were into like say watching um their partner fuck me, or my job was to just like help be like a pleasure assistant, and like usually most of those roles, like when it gets that complicated, you get an outline first before you go into it. So I mean, a lot of these people have to be pretty good at communication. Because, I mean, I remember my first few times, there was one guy, and he's actually still fucking contacting me from time to time on Facebook. He was like one of my first few threesomes, and like this was like my early 20s. He was dating an 18-year-old, and she was a fucking firecracker. She was amazing. And he, like, after we had gotten together, he was talking to me about secret fucks. And I was like, no, that ain't right. Like this is like that's not a polyamorous thing. You're cheating on your partner, you know? So it's like sometimes people like think they have certain liberties when they do these things, and it shouldn't be that way.
yeah.
But yeah, like as far as the anal sex go, there's lots of women out there that like it. You just gotta look around. Either that or he's gotta find himself a really good sub and like just try it out sometime. Be like, look, like we're gonna try this. Or like, I mean obviously the person's gotta consent. You just can't rape them, but
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna do this, and they're like, no, and then you do it anyway. No, 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 no,
Unless it's like
no.
some kind of like role play rape or something.
Yeah, role playing is a different thing for sure. But yeah, like there's lots of people out there. Some people really prefer it. I honestly, my view on it is, I mean, the person's gotta know what they're doing. That's number one, because you can't just like go in full force. Like some people are like, they're super like there's no one's been in their butt. So, and there is such a thing as like training, like butt training. You get different,
A training, really.
yeah, like you get different size plugs and stuff. Like it's like stretching your ears, but for your butt.
Well, actually, one thing I've seen in a lot of transsexual female porn, and I don't know what it is. Some of them wear these things on their dicks. It's like this metal thing. I don't know if it's a
Oh, it's
chastity
a
belt.
cage. Yeah, it's
What's
a
that for?
chastity belt.
What's that for? Is it their way of saying that they don't want their
No,
involved?
it's a form of like it's sort of like on the degradation tip.
Hmm.
They're
So
not like it's a higher sort of a higher form of doming. you get somebody to cage up their dick, they can't get a boner.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Like they legit, like I actually have a little bit of some experience with this, not like actual physical experience, but I knew actually this was one of my crushes from high school turned out to be really, really interesting later in life. And I was like really surprised, like at where he ended up sexually.
Yeah.
And like how he said like, well, this is when we first talked, he was like, yeah, I noticed you in high school. And I'm like, I'm thinking he's probably thinking that I'm some sort of like freaky dom because I'm a goth kid at that time. You know, like it's kind of sort of semi false advertising because I mean I wasn't totally, but I was definitely like not a stranger to it. But yeah, later on in life he's talking about like being degraded and like having a cage for it and stuff. It was like interesting. It's like, where is this coming from? This is like, has this been going on most of your life and you just didn't know what it was? Or so yeah. It's like anyway, back to the anal thing. That guy will find somebody. Like just because he hasn't found anyone now doesn't mean he won't find someone.
Oh,
And
sure, yeah.
trannies are a good place to start for sure.
Well, they could go to like maybe Fet Life or something. There must be
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
people there, yeah.
Just be
Or
like anal butt play, all this, like
or Adult Friend Finder. There must be tons of that there.
right. I
Could
fucking for
definitely.
I forgot about that app. I used to hit that up a long time ago.
Or
Shit.
well, I mean, I guess pretty much anything where that just involves hookups.
Yeah.
Match.com, not so much, but uh,
Match.com.
okay. So yeah, you're up next.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm a religious, closeted bisexual. As a kid, I watched Spy Kids 3 all the time. I became obsessed with Demetra, the purple girl. To avoid suspicion, I told everybody I had a crush on Arnold, the red boy, but that wasn't true. I was in love with Demetra. Even wrote my first poem about her. Fast forward to an on-campus college, I came out as bisexual to my bi roommate, lesbian supervisor, pansexual RA, transgender coworker, and basically anyone I wanted. I even attended pride events. It is extremely freeing to actually say it out loud. My only regret is not having a girl on girl experience. Then it hit me. Girls don't find me attractive because of my religious appearance. In my religion, we have to cover up and all that. Might turn people off in the sense that religion is seasoned with homophobia. Now I'm on college break and I feel closeted again. I express my attraction to women, girls, and feminine energy, but they just side eye me. I'm worried this and the internalized homophobia from my religious upbringing will keep me from actually being with a woman. That I find like super, super interesting because like there is so much like revolving around religion and being like a homo per se, or being gay, being anything, being trans, being a drag queen, being anything but straight. Um, it's so it's so weird because I mean Christianity number one, they say is like God loves us all, you know, and God created us in His image. You know, like with those two things, you'd think that it'd be more accepted, but it isn't.
No, not at all. Except within like
And
the native
yeah,
cultures that they seem, but yeah, nothing else. No.
yeah, it's like the main ones, like what you're like basically Christianity, probably Judaism,
Uh,
Muslim, and Buddhism. Buddhism might be a little bit more free. They probably wouldn't have anything that says like you can't be gay.
No, but
Um,
kind of discourage like attachment and pleasure and stuff. So they don't
yeah,
they don't really
yeah,
should have any
overall.
sex. Yeah. What's the deal with all the fucking religions being anti-sex? But well,
Except for Satanism.
yeah, that's the thing. Well, the thing
They're
is, I
like,
guess one theory people have, and I guess it is true. If you can convince someone to give up sex for a cause, then you've got them, right? Like especially men to convince a
oh,
man to
fuck
stop having
yeah.
sex. That's if you can do that, you've got him by the balls, so to speak, right? So
Mhm.
yeah,
It's true. It's
yeah.
true.
I mean, I don't know. Women seem to have an easier time giving it up.
We do. And you know what? Like one of the like case in points is like Europe. Europe, a lot of women kind of walk around holding hands and stuff like that. It's like whatever. Like not all women, but like, a lot of women do. And it's not necessarily like a relationship thing or whatever.
Well,
It's just they're more casual about things. For fuck's sakes, when they greet each other, they're in your face, they're kissing your cheeks and stuff.
well,
In some places.
the funny thing about India is that like it's taboo, like homosexuality is taboo. It's taboo for men and women to even like
Yeah, that's the
shake.
one I was trying to think of is
Yeah,
Hinduism.
it's taboo just to shake a woman's hand, but yet men hold their friends' hands walking down the street, and
Yeah.
it's a weird. Also, it's also hypocritical because there's a big problem there with women being molested in public, and
Oh, yeah, and acid being thrown in their face.
yeah. Though I think that's more.
That happened way back. Like it was more when the Twin Towers
Yeah.
fell that they were like that was happening.
I think that still happens in places like Pakistan, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's terrible. Like I honestly like I feel like we've reached that point in time where women should have rights all over the world.
Yeah.
Like we really should. We really should. Like it's not like, we don't like if the rest of the world can get their shit together, then why can't the other ones? Like it shouldn't be so bad that we have rights. It shouldn't be so bad that we want to celebrate the things that we love about ourselves and not cover them up. Like it to me it's just so like it's so sad. Like I see it as super freeing being where I'm at because I look at like a lot of the other places like I wouldn't be able to walk alone. Like that really sucks. Like I like
Yeah.
having my freedom. I don't know about everybody else, but like I like having my freedom and as a woman like it's really important. And I mean out here we're like luckily we're pretty safe to walk places. Like we don't really have to look over our shoulder as much as say in New York City or like bigger places like that where like rape is literally waiting around the corner. So,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, same with those other places where the woman is like, it's, oh, you don't have a man escort. Oh, guess what? You're getting raped, or you're getting acid thrown in your face because you didn't cover the rest of your face up. It's so sad.
Yeah. Those countries are shitholes.
Yeah.
Uh, so I didn't say
Oh,
the
yeah.
I didn't say the people were assholes or anything.
No, but I mean, it's just like everything. This is gonna sound terrible, but everything they believe in is shit. No,
Well, I mean,
Just- it's
there
not
really aren't
that.
there were not many penalties for these fucking acid throwing
Yeah,
incidents.
and I just honestly like what, like, how do you fucking think you have the right to destroy some woman's face because it's not covered enough? Who made you God?
No,
Who made you fucking God? Who made you fucking destroy someone's fucking life? That is painful. Not only like the moment that it fucking hits your skin, but for the rest of your life. You feel that. Like you can't go under hot water or cold water. Like it's excruciating. You know, like it's the same as burn victims and that, like chemical burns, fire burns, all of that. Like you feel that for the rest of your life. You do. Like, and that's like the worst part. I talked to, there was a man, and it was actually really cool. Like he was such a sweetheart. When I like lived out in Cold Lake, I worked at the liquor store, and he used to come get booze like on a regular basis. I have a feeling it was probably to help cope with the feeling of that, but he got burned severely. And you could, like that, there's like that cross-hatched, sort of like, it's almost like a bandage, but it's like a sock. You could see like in his skin, like where he had been wearing that while he was healing when they're doing skin grafts and stuff. It's like that was sort of the protective cover, but you could see that like there was markings through his skin of this cross-hatching stuff. And I asked him, I was like, like how, like I want to know, like, and I don't like, you know, you can not answer this, but like how, like you feel that, don't you? Like you can feel that. He's like, sometimes taking a shower is one of the worst things.
Oh, no doubt, because the nerves are exposed. So
It's
it's
so
yeah.
terrible. Like it actually, like, it makes me feel like it makes me feel all kinds of feelings. I want to go out and stab everybody that's ever fucking done this shit to people, like, viciously and intentively. It like drives me. I hate people sometimes. There's some really disgusting people on
No,
this planet. And those people that throw acid in women's faces, they're like, to me, lowest of the low. Like, you don't even have balls enough. Like, you gotta fucking toss acid in some girl's face and run away. Like,
yeah.
fuck you.
Well, they're losers because they got their marriage proposal got rejected, and yeah.
Yeah, or they hate their wife, whatever. They probably, like, they, there's actually a lot of fucking murders that kind of happen through that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Arranged marriages and stuff. Yeah, there's some interesting things around that. I remember when I lived out in Edmonton, there was an area, it's basically like a suburbia called Millwoods, and there was a place across the street. It was like across the street, two houses down, this guy apparently murdered his wife. So, and they were a brown family, so it didn't look good. Like, it was definitely probably one of those things where she just had, she's in Canada and was exercising her rights, and he didn't like that. So,
Just wait.
there's so much that happens with these like East Indian families. I'm so like, it makes me so sad, and it's like these women don't have the rights that they deserve. You
Yeah,
know,
well, it's like we keep hearing about white privilege, but you know what? Thank God, thank your lucky stars you weren't born in that culture. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You
yeah.
weren't.
I mean, I experienced a certain amount of white privilege, but I mean, I know a lot of people, like, by looking at me, like, would think, oh, like, white privilege, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, not so much now, but, the more tattoos you have, the more your white privilege goes away. And I was never in a rich family. Like, my dad was military, but, like, we were by no means, like, we weren't well off.
Yeah.
We budgeted, and mom had a job here and there, like, just to, like, a, keep herself busy, but also, like, bring in a little extra money. But, like, yeah, it's like, that can be a little bit racist just because we have a certain color skin. It's like people assume it's like, oh, you've had it good all your life. It's like I've had it better than a lot of people, but it hasn't been awesome. I mean, my mom directly came from a place where her parents built their fucking place, like, from the ground up. They didn't really have plumbing, so they went to the well. They didn't even have a flushable toilet. They had a porta potty. Like, my mom came from some really modest roots, like very modest, very poor, So it's like, a lot of that, like, even though I didn't fully experience it, I still, like, when I was young, I went to visit my grandparents and they still had the porta potty there. They still, like, things were still operating the way that they were when my mom was a kid. So, it's not like I didn't know what my mom went through because I did, like, and my mom actually is just like coming out with more and more stories, which are hilarious. And I told her, man, you need to write a book. Like, it'll be a bestseller, I'm telling you.
Did you ever hear about that story about the guy who went into one of those public outhouses at like a campsite or something, and he got down into the sewage,
Oh,
so he could,
fuck, gross.
yeah, so he could watch women do their business there,
Did he
and
fucking die?
he didn't but he got caught. But like most of the women didn't see him because they just didn't want to look down there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point someone saw him and they freaked out and
Oh
called
my
the cops.
God. That's the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah, that guy's.
Like, you're literally in shit and piss, and like you're
Yeah.
gonna no, it's not worth it. No. And then like that with the solution that they put in there, that weird blue liquid, like that stuff smells gross. Like I do not like the smell of porta potties. They're fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah.
And then someone lays down a good deuce. That mixed with the blue fucking grossness is like beyond nasty. Festival porta potties. Anyone who's been to a festival will know those are the most disgusting things you've ever been in your life. Cause like you got trash people going in there and just pissing and shitting everywhere. And it's like, oh, like there's not enough fucking hand sanitizer in the world for me to feel clean after coming out of one of those.
There's this feminist named Camille Paglia. She told a story. She went to like a camp when she was a teenager, and everyone who was in the camp had to do a certain amount of work there. And so apparently, one thing you got to do with those outhouses is you got to put, I don't know if it was lime or lye, but she had to put some of that in there. And she didn't know that you're supposed to put a limited amount. So like she's walking away from it, the fucking thing explodes with like
Ew.
sewage landing everywhere. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
so on to my last one.
yeah, you have one more.
Yeah.
We're going on 2 hours here. This is the first one that we've done since we've been on Christmas vacation.
The
So
title,
it's an extra special long
title,
podcast.
I decided the title's going to be First Discharge of the Year.
Oh, yes. Good
Yeah.
title. I approve.
All right. So the title of my last one is Small Penis Husband. Now my dog, my lover. So here we go.
Oh,
My
fuck. What?
My husband of 8 months has such a small penis. He even has a hard time keeping it in me when having sex. Once he once he comes, he is done, and I have not even started to become aroused. I cannot feel him, and I have no sexual satisfaction from it. One day I seen how big our dog's penis was. They censor it, of course. And over time, he has become my lover. My husband likes to watch and does not mind. The dog does a good job, bring me to my orgasm. I have finally found something that fulfills me sexually. Well, it reminds me of this book I read, My Secret Garden, which is these women, their sexual fantasies. I don't know if I ever mentioned it before.
Yeah, you told me
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a couple dog fantasies in there. So, and
My
I did
God.
one time I was on Facebook, and this happened a number of times where some guy kept uploading like a bestiality video. This girl was getting fucked by a dog. I mean, my shit I get put into Facebook jail because of politically incorrect humor, and some guy is able,
Yeah, I've got put in a Facebook jail because of being in a bad advice column and giving my absolute bad advice and it being like totally like not kosher with the community standards, but they took it completely out of context because I'm responding to this fucking question.
I referred to myself as white trash, and they nailed me for that because if they
Because
say
you're making fun of yourself? Like, what
no,
the fuck?
because white trash is considered hate speech.
Yeah, but you're hating on yourself. And like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like people don't read it. They just see the like trigger words and they're like, oh, Facebook jail.
It's probably just algorithms that are set up to detect
Yeah,
those things, and then they don't
it's
give a shit, you know.
stupid. Yeah, because okay, so the bad advice one, like and I mean this is kind of it's definitely a touche thing, but like it's literally the group is called a group where we only give each other bad advice.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Suck.
groundwork has been laid there. So one of these people is like, my friend suffers from depression. What should I tell them? And I said, and I'm like, well, what's the absolute worst advice you could give? And I was like, go kill yourself. It's like, and then I got nailed for that. I was like, okay, understandable, but completely out of context. Because I
Yeah.
mean, that was the point to
Oh, they
give the
don't.
worst advice possible.
They're not
And I
gonna.
did.
They're not gonna read it, you know. And
No, I
give you the
mean,
benefit of the doubt.
but I mean, it's not like I was telling that person who wrote it to do that, and I wasn't telling anyone to do that. I was just like, it was the context of everything. It was like, give the worst advice you could possibly give. And I was like, well, that seems pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I did it, and then I caught a ban for 30 days. It was so shitty. It was like, really? I was only following the group rules here. I would never tell anybody to just go do that. Because anybody that's come out to me and been like, I don't feel good, I'm gonna off myself, whatever, I will drop whatever it is I'm doing and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
I will do that. Like I take it very seriously. I've had a lot of people die, a lot of people pass on from suicidal type related things, and I take it very seriously. So like I was just like, bitch, like the one time that I'm like, I really don't mean this. Like anyway, it's like fucking Facebook, man. And like the thing that fucking kills me about that and their algorithms is like when you get messages when you own a group and they're like, this does not follow the community standards. I'm like, yo, bitch, I set up the community standards. I'm the one who set up that. These like this is fine. What the fuck? Like, what are you on? This is my group.
Well,
That's the thing that kind of pisses me off a bit. It's like they have their own outline for your community, your group that you set up.
the miracle they haven't gotten rid of clitorati yet.
I know we came so close actually.
Oh yeah,
We
they
did.
were threatening to delete
There
it.
was yeah, and I mean when they did, that's when I made Elite, and I mean Elite's sort of very secondary, right? Like
Oh,
it's more or less like that's where I put like the more like it's a smaller group of people, so you have less chance of getting reported.
so what the
Clitorati is the main group, right? And I
original?
post
Yeah.
I post mainly in that, but like sometimes for the more like the more touchy things, I'll save it for the elite crowd because it's less likely to get reported. I have had no reports. Actually, I haven't really checked in on the elite one yet, but so far, as far as I know, I had no reports in that. But like, there's been several in the other group.
Well,
So
if there hadn't been, I mean, would you have even achieved your objectives?
I know, right? Like,
It's a
honestly,
successful
it's
group,
like, haha, like we're being watched.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. Because, like, Zuckerberg's idea for my community is not my idea for the community. So
Well, he's a fucking lame-o.
he's a fucking dickhead
It's like, you know what, just fucking just back off and then enjoy your billions
with his
and
fucking smarmy face.
yeah, yeah.
God damn it. I just hate his face, man.
He's like He's like an alien's approximation of a human being. He doesn't look real. Like
Yeah, he's like the AI
an android.
version, like
Yeah, he's an
a
android. Yeah,
mock-up.
yeah.
This
It's
is
like
a
you could.
mock-up of a human being.
It's like one of the people on Star Trek, the Borg,
Or
or
no,
whatever.
a mock-up of a white person.
Yeah, yeah. Like the way
A
that like
Chad. A Chad.
way people of color probably view like a stereotypical white guy. That's the way he looks pretty much.
Yeah, Zuckerberg and like fucking, well, Elon Musk kind of looks like a weirdo. He
He
looks like,
does. Well, yeah, he's an alien for sure. But
yeah. But I mean, he's the worst kind. That motherfucker has so much money. He fucking up and married Grimes, some bitch who's basically an alien too. And
yeah.
like,
Well, I
he
like.
can't fucking ante up a few dollars to the people that's making the world go around. He
Well,
just wants to go to space.
well, yeah. He views money as a tool. He's just he wants to get these projects off the ground. So I don't know if he's all about money. I think
He
you're right.
just like he's like, oh, like I have these toys. Like he's a big kid.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You're like, oh, look, I got the spaceship. I'm gonna go to space. Hey, look, I got this thing. Oh, look, I'm married to Grimes. I'm gonna have a baby, and these are my toys. It's like, fuck.
Well, you make that kind of money, you can marry whoever you want, right?
Man, like I don't get that connection. Elon Musk and Grimes, like Grimes is a weirdo anyway, a bit, but like what? Like I guess like I mean I probably would marry Elon Musk too if you asked me and
So
be like, yo, like, this is what's up. I will make you a baby, but I need some freedom. I need some walking around money, and I know you got it.
she's like, what
And I
does
will
she
give
do?
you a son, I swear to God.
I guess it's a John and Yoko situation. Yeah.
Maybe. I think she's kind of the John though. Like she's not Yoko. He's probably Yoko.
Oh, she's Canadian. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. Her and actually, I kind of delved down a bit of a rabbit hole because like there's this group that oh group well this dude that I got into. He's a rap hip hop artist that uses a lot of like 80s kind of synth like tunes and raps over it. He goes by Jay Worthy, and I think him and Grimes were related in a way. Um, they were both like living in BC. Like he was a stepbrother, their step siblings is what they were. And then they moved to LA. Um, but yeah, they're Canadian and then they moved down to fucking LA and then that's where Grimes sort of got her beginning and he also went off and did his thing. Apparently, I guess like according to his raps, he was a drug dealer, then a pimp, and and then started making music about it. Um, yeah. Anyway, sorry. This whole, like I kind of nerd out with music. Once I find something I like, it's definitely like sort of a hyper fixation, because like I see like it's like oh this person did this. I gotta like see what the hell where they came from. And then, maybe in a rap they'll mention like somebody that I've heard a name before, like how are they associated? Is this the same person I'm thinking of? And then I'll see them in a music video and be like, oh my God, is that like so and so? And I fucking nerd out super hard. But the whole Grimes and Jay Worthy thing got me a bit. I was like, holy shit, they're related. He's got a weird ass sister and he turned out to be a pimp. Like, and now she's married to a fucking crazy rich dude. And they're just being
Yeah.
weird together.
What's really interesting is Kesha.
Mm,
Yeah.
we talked about her. I love her. She had a hard go. Like for years and years and years, she was a songwriter trying to make it. And she kept hooking up with the wrong people. And they kept kind of like promising her, like, oh, you're going to make it. You got lots of talent and stuff. And then, you know, finally like she like had moved on from these people and ended up kind of getting herself out there somehow. And I like her. She's a different entity. She's not like cookie cutter type
No.
shit. You know, like she's definitely like her own person. And like just like I've always admired songwriting actually, because like you know Four Non Blondes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that lady, she went on to write a bunch of songs for Christina Aguilera. Um, she did the album, I think it was right after Dirty, the one where she like um I'm a fighter. Um, and what else? You're Beautiful, that one. She wrote a lot of really like pivotal songs for a lot of people. And oh, she was on the Dolly Parton documentary as well. I
Oh yeah.
just watched that recently. Oh my God, Dolly Parton, that woman, I absolutely love her.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah.
She like watch the it's on Netflix. Watch her documentary. It's so worth it. She's an amazing woman. And also they do they do her story about like once you like watch the documentary and then watch her drunk history because there's a whole series of drunk history. It started with Funny or Die, but they actually done a spin-off show and like really made it into something. But this guy, he's talking about like just the whole story around I Will Always Love You. And it is so good. Like they both hit on a lot of like the same things. It's just the way the guy tells it, where he's all drunk and stuff. It's way more entertaining. And there's a little bit more to it too. Like there's a little bit more personal stuff involved. But um yeah, Dolly Parton, man, like she was something. And like looking at her throughout the years, like she's always had those tits, man. Like, she's
Oh yeah.
always had big ass fucking titties and a tiny little fucking waist. And she was married to the same guy forever.
Yeah, that's right. He's always gotten to suckle on them.
Suckle them Dolly Parton tits.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, those are anime titties. Dolly Parton has anime titties.
Yeah, they're gigantic. There was there was that time when I think she was kind of chunky for a while, and they got even bigger. They were like enormous, like in the 80s, I think, maybe the late 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, she did have a slight chunky face, but she's always pretty, like, she's always remained like this tiny little waist. It's almost like she fucking wore, like, corsets and stuff, you
Yeah,
know? Like, it's such a tiny little waist. And they even go on about that. The ladies in 9 to 5, they all ended up being, like, best friends, really, after that. Yeah, this documentary, honestly, I highly recommend it. I highly do. Like my whole family and I, we just like we couldn't we like I didn't miss a thing. I was like so into it. Dolly Parton, man, she's amazing. I want to go to Dolly World actually. I think that would be great.
yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
And she's a really cool person to meet. Like she's actually a really like she's a sweetheart. And a songwriter. Like that's like the first and foremost what she was. She wrote so many songs. All the songs that she wrote in the beginning were really super sad. Oh, oh my God, there's one that they featured in that biography where um like the ending to the song was not nice. It was like, oh man, I'm gonna cry. Like
Yeah.
there's like two good ones. Like one that she wrote when she was really young, and when she was featured on one of those shows, because she was on a show for a while, right? That was just before she wrote I Will Always Love You. So she's on this show, and she debuts that song that she wrote so long ago. And it was really quite amazing. And there's one where she's playing like like a handheld harp. Like
Mhm.
she's really quite talented.
Very, yeah,
I
very,
love her. Her and her titties are talented, man.
yeah, they are. Yeah. Imagine
All
if
her
she would have,
talents and her boobs. That's why they're so big.
she would, she would have been the most successful stripper ever, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
girl. So, like, damn.
In
She
fact,
could have
like,
done burlesque, though. I think she would have been better at burlesque.
well, she would still be able to do it too. Like, normally there's an age limit, but
Hmm.
she'd probably still be doing
She
it if
still
she.
looks good. And she's still, like, got all kinds of energy, that one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, have we
Yeah.
have we blown our wad? Did you
I
did?
think we blew our wad.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I mean, it's 2 hours. This is
yeah,
definitely one of the longer ones that we fucking, and we just like, I went off on a couple tangents.
yeah.
So,
2 hour discharge right there. Right?
yeah, it's quite the discharge.
Yeah, yeah. All right, my dear. Well, thank you for our first
Thank you.
episode.
I was actually like, when you said that this was happening, like this week, I was like, cool. Like, I actually was wondering, I'm like, when are we getting back into this? And we're getting back into it like fucking full throttle because we got this and then we got another thing on Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're fucking really putting it to her. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
full discharge
I hope everyone
this
knows.
week.
Yeah. Yes, everybody, join my YouTube channel, Leader One Studios, because that's where the Papo videos
That's
are.
where you actually get to see us. And if you join in, you'll see the last one where I actually completely eat fucking dirt.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe we'll start doing video versions of this sometime.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that maybe we'll start doing that, like maybe next time.
Because
Probably
Rachel and
later
I
on
did that
today.
for the True Crime News, and I think it turned out okay. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, sex sells, right? So,
Oh man, does it ever?
yeah.
Especially like fucking indecent and perverted sex.
Well, yeah, not that you would know
Always.
anything about that. But,
Oh no, I know nothing about that. I'm a virgin.
yeah, right. You had your hymen reinstalled, right? Right.
Yeah, yeah, I had it reinstalled and it's been reinstalled a few times. We'll just say that.
This is a joke, everybody. She never had one. So,
No, I was born a hussy.
yeah. That was left over from her previous life. It just never.
Yeah, it's just like it just never grew in because I was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, let's leave on that note.
Okay. All right. Have a great night.
All right, you too, and goodbye, podcast listeners.
Bye bye.
Bye.